Hey Canucks fans, do you think the Abbotsford Canucks are doing enough to develop players for their parent NHL club? I am Canuck Clay, and this is my Canucks take all in one take. It's Clay's Canucks commentary for Saturday, May the 7th. If you're new, here's what you should do. Hit the subscribe button now for daily Canucks insight that's positive, timely, and trustworthy. I hope you guys are all doing well today, and I just want to give a heads up that tomorrow I'm doing a kind of a different type of video recapping the all 8 first round series at basically the halfway point. So I'm moving my Ask Me Anything to Monday. So I've already put up the post though on my community tab. If you want to ask me a question for my Ask Me Anything vlog, but I'll be doing it on Monday as opposed to tomorrow on Sunday. However, tomorrow it is Sunday. All of our Mother's Day stuff will be done by then. So I'm still live streaming at 10 p.m. I hope you can join me. And speaking of Mother's Day, I got to see my mom today for a nice lunch at White Spot earlier today. And because I won't be able to see her tomorrow, I'm actually working. We're doing a Mother's Day event for work. Then we'll take Gail out for dinner, of course. So that's my plans. I hope you've had a really good weekend so far. Let's get into this Abbotsford Canucks. And I'm not really talking right now about was this season a success for the Abbotsford Canucks. There are many ways that you can look at that very quickly. I think from a branding, identity, first year of the franchise, fan loyalty, fan engagement, all those things, I think it was a very good season for the Abbotsford Canucks. I would call it a success. When you look at their on-ice performance, which is what I'll get to mostly, I thought it was okay. Obviously, a very disappointing, quick 2-game exit from the playoffs. 2 quick, heartbreaking games, losing 1 in overtime and losing 1 in the final minute after your player gets cross-checked in your goalie. But hey, we're not complaining. I'll get over it very quickly. So I think on the ice, even they had a pretty good regular season. Tied for 4th in the Pacific, end up going playing a play-in, almost a little mini-series against Bakersfield, and ultimately losing in 2 straight games. But I think the more important way to look at it is, yes, it engaged the fan base. People are talking about the Abbotsford Canucks. We saw some of the advantages of being able to pull guys up, send guys down for playing time, whatever it is, a lot more easier than if the team was still in Utica. And then ultimately, the Abbotsford Canucks exists to develop and produce players for the NHL Vancouver Canucks. I think we'd agree there. And I think we'd also agree, I'm not an Abbotsford Canucks expert, so I didn't go to any games this year. I followed them a little bit, but of course I followed them more, their individual players, when they were sent up or down to Vancouver, of course, up to Vancouver, back down to Abbotsford. So when you look at some of the players, and I want to talk about some of the players that actually appeared on the Canucks, and then we'll talk about a couple of players that I'm very interested in going forward. When you look at the players that actually played for the Canucks this year, I'd say the biggest success story, well, there's 2. There's 3. Sorry. Spencer Martin, Will Lockwood, and Jack Rathbone. Spencer Martin, he is the one that probably made the biggest strides in that he came up. He was number 1 goaltender in Abbotsford, comes up, plays 6 games for the Canucks, and does not lose a single game in regulation. 3 wins, 3 extra time, overtime losses, getting 9 points out of a possible 12 in the 6 games that he played in, 3 in January and 3 to end off the season. Rewarded with a 2-year contract. We've talked a lot about him on this channel. We're obviously excited for what he can do, and he's going to be a great, serviceable, reliable backup to Thatcher Demko for the next 2 seasons. Jack Rathbone played the first 9 games at the start of the season, made the team out of training camp, but I think the Canucks wanted to see him develop a little bit more. I fully expect him to make the Canucks roster next season as either the 6th or 7th defenseman. I could see him playing on a 3rd pairing with Travis Dermott. So let's see what happens next season. Then you can go OEL Myers, Hughes, and Shen, and then Rathbone with Dermott. That means no more Hunt, no more Kyle Burrows, but I could truly see, and maybe not Tucker Pullman. So I could totally see that happening. So Jack Rathbone, not worried about him at all, and I fully expect him to be on the team next year. And then Will Lockwood, he got injured at the end of the season, but I thought he played well in the games that he did play in March and April when he did play for the Canucks. So I'd say he's another good story for the Abbotsford Canucks. So Martin, Lockwood, and Rathbone, of course, who will make it, I think, a bigger dent next year. I actually really had high hopes for him this season, but it wasn't meant to be. Now, when I talk about this, you got to remember, it's been a crazy couple of years for everyone, including the Abbotsford Canucks, whether it's pandemic, whether it's the taxi squad, haven't been full seasons until now. So I'm really glad. That's another reason why I'm glad that Abbotsford first season went off so well, the inaugural Abbotsford season, because they're coming off a couple of years of a lot of uncertainty and a lot of craziness, just like the whole world has experienced. So I think we got to keep that in mind as well. I just want to interject that. Now, there are some veteran players that got some games in, whether it's Nick Patan, I think DiGiuseppe got into a game or two, Sheldon Dries, Sheldon Rempel, Justin Bailey. So there's at least 5 guys there that are a little older. Justin Dowling actually got into some games as well. So there's at least 6 guys of the older type that got into Vancouver Canucks games, but we certainly don't expect that. No Juleson, we certainly don't expect them to be difference makers going forward. So they played fine. They were serviceable. Actually, we've had more depth. Usually when we're getting to our farm team, it's guys that aren't even really NHL players. You could say that everyone I just named are NHL players. Sure, they're bottom end NHL players, but at least it's not a massive drop off. It's a drop off for sure. That's why they're on the farm, but it isn't a massive drop off. So I think that's another reason why you call this team a success, is they had the depth at least to have decent players. And a lot of these players did well when they did get called up for their small stints. But 2 players I do want to talk about going forward are Danila Klimovich and Jet Wu. And both of them are being in the news recently because of the Abbotsford Canucks' quick playoff exit. And General Manager Ryan Johnson had a media availability yesterday talking about their season and their year-end wrap-up. And he talked about these 2 players in particular. And what Ryan Johnson said about Klimovich was, even though he was scratched for the 2 playoff games, which seems, kind of counterintuitive when you need offense, but he talked very highly about Klimovich and said, however, there were some, he didn't call it maturity, he called it professionalism issues. And he didn't, to Ryan Johnson's credit, he didn't make it a dramatic, he didn't overblow it or anything. He just simply said there's some things that he needs to work on. We wanted him to work on throughout the season. He did some things well, didn't do other things well. And then one way to hold him accountable was to not play him in the playoff games. Now, I'm not saying that the Abbotsford Canucks would have won that series if Klimovich was playing. I'm not saying that at all. And I'm not in a position to say that because I didn't watch enough of the games. But Ryan Johnson did point out that he does watch every one of the games. Of course, he's the GM, and he watches every one of Klimovich's shifts. And he said there's some things he needs to learn about the pro game. And even compared him, said he wanted him to see what Podkolzin did in the AHL playoffs, to see how good Podkolzin is on the wall, how responsible he is, how hard he is to play against on the wall, and how he always does a really good job of getting the puck off the wall, yet retaining possession. So my sense is he liked Klimovich's offensive ability throughout the season, but he needed him to be more disciplined along the boards and defensively. And I don't think there's anything there that's kind of mind-blowing or headline making. It's a general manager being very honest, explaining why he didn't play his Klimovich in the 2 playoff games. Remember, Klimovich is super young too. He is only, when was he born? I'm just looking it up right now. Yeah, he was born in 2003. So he had just turned 19 actually. Wow, that's crazy. He's born in the same year as Jacob. Anyways, so he's very young. And remember, he went to the Abbotsford Canucks straight out of the draft last year. He didn't play in the CHL, didn't play back in Russia, thank goodness. So I'm not worried about this at all. It doesn't sound like the organization's worried about it. So Klimovich will be a name to watch over the next couple of seasons. The other one is Jet Wu. And a lot of people on this channel ask me about Jet Wu, and they ask me anything, the live streams. Because remember, he was drafted in the second round, just a few picks or a few, 30 picks after Quinn Hughes in the 2018 draft. And, we were joking about this Wu Hughes or Hughes Wu combination. And we knew that Quinn Hughes was a lot closer to being an AHLer. He's already played 200 games. But Jet Wu has not played for the Vancouver Canucks yet. And now, so he's not super old. He's turning 22 this summer. And there's a tantalizing package there in that he's a big, rugged, throwback right shot defenseman. Kind of like Bieksa is kind of doesn't play exactly like him, but I've always thought of a Bieksa type where he's not afraid to mix it up, like decent skater, good hands. But Jet Wu ended up playing forward in the playoffs because they had defensemen that were playing better than him. Yet I guess they liked his skating, liked his aggressiveness. So it's kind of weird combining Klimovich and Wu. They sat the forward to play a defenseman who's struggling at D to play him at forward. So maybe in hindsight, you sit Jet Wu and you play Klimovich, but that's not for me to decide. So I think this is one where we would love to see him develop. We'd love to see him take another step, but will Jet Wu end up taking that step? And Ryan Johnson says Jet Wu still has to forge an identity. I thought his identity was a stay-at-home, rugged, right-shot defenseman, but Ryan Johnson might not be so convinced. So that's going to be another one to watch. I would love it if Wu could join the Canucks in 2 years and be a solid third-pairing right guy, but it sounds like he's not on track to be there just yet. So those are two names to watch, especially next season, is Danila Klimovich and Jet Wu, and just to see how well they progress. So Canucks fans, let me know. Let me know how closely you follow the Abbotsford Canucks. Would you agree with my assessments, which was really just repeating what Ryan Johnson said? And are you worried about Klimovich? Are you worried about Wu? What other players are you interested in seeing? I think one of the best Canucks prospects isn't even playing there yet. He's still in college, and that is Aiden McDonough. Hopefully he signs with the club at the end of next season. So that's another name to look for as well. So let me know in the comments below. Would love to know what you guys think. Shout out to my sponsors, Perform and Transform, personal training and weight loss. Sign up now for a free 7-day trial. Use the link in my video descriptions. And Advanced CD Experts Real Estate Group. Contact Jason Lim and his team for all of your real estate needs. Thank you, legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Justin Credible, legendary Andrew Chang, and the Hall of Fame members Jens 95, Sim Alexander, Chris Seifert, Adam Broomfield, Shannon Hollingworth, HSM Fangirl, Gaming Smooth Groove, and Carol Bovenlander. Thank you for your support as always, and thanks to the support of all members of all levels. You are listed in my video descriptions. If you want to become a member of the CCC Crew, press the join button underneath this or my videos, or in the memberships tab on my YouTube channel. If you made it this far, if you made it 11 and a half minutes into this video, in the chat today, it's Saturday, Abbotsford Canucks. Let's give some love to Jet Wu. Very simple, WOO, woo! Put that in the comments below, and that's how I know that you made it all the way to the end of this video. Subscribe if you'd like to, like this video if you'd like to, leave a tip or super thanks if you'd like to, and become a member or upgrade your membership if you'd like to, and definitely leave a comment down below, not only with the word woo, but also your thoughts on the Abbotsford Canucks. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. I'll see you tomorrow with a new video. God bless, and go Canucks go.